Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's the Full Melt Show.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
This is the Full Melt.
Give me a break. The Full Melt Show. A marijuana discussion about news, culture, politics, and lifestyle. FullMelt.com. Toll free. 844-420-TALK. 844-420-TALK.
Coming to you live, but not very loud. Coming to you live, a little louder. There we go. Coming to you live from the PetPain.com studios. This is another edition of the Full Melt Show. Lots of stuff going on. I'll tell you, did you see what's going on in Florida? It seems as though, according to a story today, Florida is getting their acts together in the legalized marijuana arena. I mean, really. It's about time somebody in Florida put their dukes up and fought back against the likes of Sheldon Adelson, considering they're nearly, in Florida, past the legalization of medical marijuana in that state. Lost by a measly, 2%? Excuse me. Little something in my throat. In Florida, you have to have like 2/3. It's not just a simple majority win. You have to have more than that. And it seems like they failed it by like a mere 2%. I think they needed 68. Was it 68? Should have been 66. I don't know. Whatever it was, they lost it by 2%. And you know, the only one sticking up money to rally against the people who wanted to make medical cannabis in Florida a legal reality were the $5 million from Sheldon Adelson. The people in Florida know Mr. Adelson as a casino millionaire, or I guess more correctly put, billionaire. He's one of those guys that can throw $5 million at a campaign and go, you know what? I'll see it back in my casino winnings. Why would somebody like Sheldon Adelson rally against medical cannabis of all things? Well, first off, he's just an old fool. Yes, he's a rich old fool, but he's an old fool. Here's an old man who's been standing on and living in the prohibitionist turf for decades. It's where he made his money. Is it just me, or is there a lot of pollen in the air? A little sniffly today, and I'm not a pollen guy. It doesn't seem like pollen really much. Got a little sniffle going on. A sniffle and a cough. It better not be a measure of things to come, I'll tell you that. Had my bout with illness in my day, and don't look forward to any more of that kind of crap. So I hope this isn't a foreshadowing what yet awaits. So Sheldon Adelson in Florida is the only guy that's putting money towards the anti-message, towards the prohibitionist message. And the question I again posed, and didn't answer yet, is why would somebody like him do that? Well, I did kind of start to answer it. He's made his money in this prohibitionist place, primarily from casino gaming and alcohol sales. Now, in Michigan, when they did casino gaming, when they decided that this was going to be allowed, and mind you, Florida doesn't have casino gaming anywhere but on Indian reservations. You're not going to see a casino on regular property in Florida. It's not a commercial adventure there, unless you're in an Indian resort. And guess who's going to do some of that funding? Guess who's going to build some of that stuff? Mr. Adelson, right? So he's making money from two of the deadly sins, right? Alcohol and gambling. what would make him think, of all things, that marijuana wouldn't work well amongst them? Well, I'll tell you what. If you're heavily invested in liquor licensing at casino gaming spots where you can walk in 24/7, any time of the day and night, I've done it in Florida, walked right in there. Walking from Fort Lauderdale one night just on a whim. Just, you know what? Let's walk back to Hollandale Beach. We'll just walk back from Fort Lauderdale. No big deal. It's a few miles. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. So we'd walk back from Fort Lauderdale, and guess what? Along State Route 84 there is a gaming spot. Look at that. Right off State Route 84 there. So go in there with maybe save $20 for the night. Now in Florida, if you go out and you hang out at the night, part of the nightlife, if you hang out at the bars, if you're a bar fly or something, and I'm not, I don't drink. I did a little then, and then some. But, for the most part, I was just out having fun. And when you get out in Florida, if you're out, say before, because the bars don't really close in Florida except for an hour a day. I think that's how their liquor license works. They've only got to be closed for 1 hour a day, and the bars all choose like 6 o'clock in the morning. And so between 6 and 7, everybody goes to, they go hang out at the restaurant across the street, get some breakfast, and then, in an hour when breakfast is over and the bars open to back up, they rush back across and continue drinking. I mean, that's what happens. But because the bars are open so late, if you go out to the bar in Florida before like 11 o'clock at night, you're like a weirdo. Like there's nobody going to be there. I don't care how busy that club is hopping, even a couple hours later. That place could be packed full of asses 2 hours later. If you're there at like 11 o'clock, there's crickets and people are looking at you like, are you casing us? You're kind of a square if you go out and play. Anyway, so it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning coming back from 3, maybe 4 in the morning, sometimes later. Sometimes it might even be the butt crack of dawn walking back from Fort Lauderdale, just as a youngster having fun. And you could go in there, and I'd spend my last $20 at, now I kind of know how to play the casino games a little bit. If I don't go in there for very long, and I know what to do. You go in there and make your winnings on the offer, because they got to offer you something to get you to stay, especially the electronic games. They're set to do that. They're set to pay you somewhere in the beginning, give you some kind of incentive, some kind of payout, like with your initial buy-in. And if you know how the games are played, you can get that payout to be significant sometimes, and then you just don't keep playing. I mean, you get your money once you're above what you've spent, and you leave. That's how you win at gaming. Anyways, I'd go in there and do that. But guess what everybody's in there doing at all hours of the day and night? 24/7, despite the liquor laws there. They're drinking, aren't they? Drinking makes gambling so much more fun. And so they do. Like fishes. It flows like water in Florida. And the more booze you purchase or spend on in a casino, the more likely you are to spend additional cash, whatever else you got in your pocket, in those little slot machines or on that poker table or whatever game of vice you have available at hand. And so it's that ticket right there, alcohol. I've already got all this investment in alcohol. And the alcohol I make money on, but I make even more money on the gaming that it transitions to. So I got a lot of money at stake here. If I think in my own little pea brain that cannabis may somehow impact those alcohol sales and therefore that gaming activity. Every time somebody plays a game in a casino, the house makes money. I don't care if they lost money at that particular transaction. Every single game, they make money. That's what they're there to do. I mean, they're not going to stack the odds against themselves. They have a business model to run, and it's to take your money. I mean, that's what they do. Anybody that goes into a casino, except for me, when I go in there for a few minutes and then spend my $20, and if I lose it, I lose, and if I win, I win. But I walk when I win. I don't re-spend that money. Sometimes I'd walk out of that casino with you're a fool, by the way, if you do that. If you go in there and you think you're going to go to the casino and you're going to win big, you're a fool. Go there and spend what you want to have to spend for fun. But don't go there to think that you're going to be a millionaire. If it happens, it happens. And chances are small that you're going to get anything much more than what you left with. And chances are even, more great that you would lose what you came with. There are some tricks, and you can make some. My point is this. Gaming and booze and the profits that each of them reap, this billionaire in Florida, are at risk in his head by cannabis. And I would say that it's not just in his head. I think that some of those profits are at stake because cannabis will become legal. I agree with Mr. Adelson that it may impact his stake in the game. But it is a sort of a monopoly, isn't it? I mean, you can't sell booze in Florida unless you got a liquor license. And you've got them looped into a place where you're working on two vices at the same time. Potentially, a person with two problems. I've got a gambling problem, I got a drinking problem. Boy, you combine the two, and I'm going to lose the world, right? He's in there milking those people. There are people that have enough money that live in these places that could spend that kind of cash all day long and never feel it. Mr. Adelson is there to shake that cash out of their pockets. Have fun, do what you're going to do, lose your money, but when it all goes out of your pocket, it goes into mine. And if you're outside in the parking lot smoking a doobie, chances are you're a little high already, and you don't need to come in and buy my booze. And the effects of your cannabis may not lead you into making bad decisions and spending more money than you otherwise would have spent. And so this is why people like Mr. Adelson want to stamp out the idea that, because we weren't even talking about legal cannabis, we were talking about maybe a tenth of the population that would even have access to, probably like a tenth of the population, maybe 20% of the population would have access to medical marijuana in Florida. But there's a lot of seniors there, right? A lot of old people that might need medical marijuana. Guess what those seniors are there doing? They're spending the rest of that Social Security check, whatever, didn't go to bills. What do they stuff under the mattress or give to their kids for movie money? They're spending it at the casino, right? It's a step up from playing church bingo, I'll tell you that, and marijuana's going to get away with that money. We'll be right back.
You're getting the full melt.
Got something to hide? Canalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Canalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Canalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at canalock.com. Visit canalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571. Introducing Sacred Elements, a place for natural and alternative healing for the mind, body, and soul. Sacred Elements. It's one place, all solutions.
Registered, licensed, certified, ordained.
Sacred Elements.
Massage, hypnosis, Reiki,
Sacred Elements.
raindrop, aroma and color therapy, body detox, ministry, life coaching, weight and nutrition counseling.
Sacred Elements. Next to the Sweet Leaf, 400 South Door Highway, Flint.
11 to 7 daily, closed Sunday.
Call 810-259-2570.
Young students are our future. They're eager to learn, eager to succeed, eager to make the world a better place. And they want to make it to school safely. Share the road, take care when passing, and always leave 3 feet between you and people on bikes. Bikes are legal road vehicles. We're all drivers.
Don't miss the first ever cannabis competition this year as the prize contest moves from Amsterdam to Jamaica. That's right, it's all Jamaican fun now with the Big Cup competition in Negril this November. Get your best travel accommodations now at JamaicaPot.com. Pack your beach bong and swimsuit and party down at the warm sandy beaches of Negril, Jamaica for the first ever big cannabis event this year. Do it in style or come have fun on a budget. Best travel prices now at JamaicaPot.com. That's JamaicaPot.com.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show. Back live at the PetPain.com studios in suburban Detroit today. Tell you what, coming up later on in the program, a Butters update. That's right, from Western Michigan, out on the farm in Cernak, Michigan, where hemp is abundant. We'll talk to Joe Brown and get a Butters update. I call it a Butters update because he's got a goat named Butters. That's coming up at the end of the program. Today on the program, I just wanted to talk to you about the trouble with marijuana taxation, as is spoken by Forbes magazine today. Apparently, Governor John Hickenlooper in Colorado is upbeat about the whole legalization on marijuana issue. He's liking what's going on there. We'll talk about that as reported by the Phoenix News, the Phoenix New Times. Because there's a story there about really, it's not so much about Colorado as it is about Arizona. We'll talk about that later. New data showing legalization had no impact on teen marijuana use. We have to talk about that. New polling in Michigan today. We'll tell you what's going on with the new polls on pot in the Mitten State. And, of course, Florida, I told you, is serious about legalization. A big F-U to Sheldon Adelson today. The Orlando Sentinel reports that money has been raised and spent, and a lot of it in the month of August alone. A political committee spearheading a ballot initiative to legalize medical marijuana in Florida raised and spent more than $400,000 in August, according to a newly filed finance report. People United for Medical Marijuana, which is also known as United for Care, collected $437,220 during the month, with much of that money coming from the Orlando law firm headed by committee chairman John Morgan. The Morgan firm, PA, contributed about $363,000, the report shows. The political committee also spent $459,271 during the month, with about $352,000 of that amount going to PCI Consultants, a California-based firm that does things like gathering petition signatures. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's important to gather those signatures. The committee had submitted 95,327 valid petition signatures to the state as of Friday morning, enough to trigger a Florida Supreme Court review of the proposed ballot wording. If the Supreme Court approves the wording, the committee would then need to submit a total of 683,149 valid signatures to get the proposed constitutional amendment on the November 2016 ballot. A similar ballot measure now, as you'll remember, in 2014, narrowly failed to get enough vote to pass and really effectually change what's going on there and the other peninsula state. You know, part of what I like about Michigan and Florida is that there's so much the same, with some obvious differences. I mean, but I can't think of any two states that are more parallel in many ways. I mean, they're both peninsula states, right? They're both surrounded by water. So you got all this recreational sports and water activity, fishing, all that stuff going on, swimming, motorboats, all this stuff. And then you've got law. And you'll notice a lot of lawyers that practice law in Michigan also seem to practice law in Florida, and vice versa. Because the laws are so similar. I mean, I don't know if one followed the other or the other followed one in the creation of much of its law. I don't know if these states were buddies over time in history where they're writing laws, but it seems like much of the way the law is predicated is based on the same stuff, just with different citations in the two states. The law is very parallel. And so it's easy for practitioners to get licensed in both places because, like I say, the laws are so similar. There's just some slight differences. I mean, overall, just looking at it broadly. And so then you've got these extremes in difference between Florida and Michigan. First off, Florida, much of it is in, like the tropics, right? A good portion of that tip down there in the Miami-Dade County area. Broward, a little further. You're down there in the tropics. And so are very close to it, close enough that it doesn't matter most of the year. It's nice and warm and toasty no matter what's going on in the rest of the country. Almost always. And conversely, up here in Michigan, you're freezing your tushy off. You're trying to heat up the brass bra up here just so your tits can stay warm. Literally. Well, I wouldn't think you... Does anybody have a brass bra anymore? Not sure. It's cold. So you got these extreme temperature differences. And then you've got these differences in population, I suppose. Florida's much more populated than Michigan is. It didn't used to be so much that way, but, Michigan kind of emptied out. The largest city in Michigan is Detroit. Look what happened to Detroit. You got this big hollow. It's like you shot a hole in Michigan. It's coming back. It's healing. I mean, it's starting to limp and walk again. But you got this divergence in economies. You've got this divergence in temperature. You've got the divergence in population. You've got a divergence in age. The Florida population is very aged, especially when you get further south. I mean, I could see myself going there in a few years and saying, you know what, I'm done with those temperature extremes in Michigan. I'm over it. I'm over it already. Just not ready to move there yet, especially with their cannabis policy being the way it is. Is this going to change? Is Florida going to become the new Michigan with regards to cannabis policy? Are they going to do this medical marijuana thing and do it right? Frankly, I haven't even looked in great detail into the ballot language. Number one, I think whatever they're proposing, it's going to get done. Will Sheldon Adelson and his comrades be able to raise enough money to thwart the campaign by a mere few percentage points again? 2 points is all they lost by last time, and it still was a majority vote. Just wasn't a big enough majority. So there's this battle raging on, and it's not just in Florida. I mean, other reporting today, of course, I was telling you, I call him Hickenlooper because I think it's funny. Governor John Hickenlooper. Does anybody else, somebody else has to have called him Hickenlooper before. It's just such an easy target. How could you not shoot at that target? It's a natural follow-through joke. It's like a Captain Obvious joke. Look, I got a funny name too, but it's just not as funny as Hickenlooper. And it's just, it rolls off the tongue, Hickenlooper. Tell me it doesn't. So we're going to talk about the Michigan thing here, with the Legalize thing going on there, what the polls are saying there. But the peak that I wanted to take inside was this thing around Arizona. Arizona is one of those states that's right next to Colorado, right? I mean, it's right there. And the governor says he's upbeat on marijuana legalization and is kind of shining that idea on, I think, to the people from Arizona. And a sign that may bode well for legalization in Arizona next year, Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper sounds surprisingly upbeat about his state's bold marijuana law. In an interview with New Times' sister publication in Denver called Westward, and this is according to the Phoenix New Times. Opponents of planned ballot measures in Arizona for the November 2016 election often point to Colorado as a failed experiment that Arizona shouldn't repeat. You see, this is how could anybody point to Colorado and say it was a failed experiment? I mean, in what world, through what lenses are you viewing this activity? Honestly, it's plain and apparent to me that you've got a skewed view or just are plain out lying. At an upcoming seminar by legalization opponents, for instance, 6 of 7 speakers are from Colorado and will no doubt try to steer the audience towards the false idea that Arizona's neighboring state is a disaster because of marijuana. Hickenlooper, founder of a beer brewery and a former mayor of Denver, opposed the historic 2012 measure that legalized pot for adults 21 and over, but in the interview published on Wednesday in Westward, he says legalization hasn't been so bad after all. Now, I look at how far we've come, and I think there's a real possibility that we'll have a system that works if you eliminate the black market, make it harder for kids to get marijuana. We can put more money into education for kids, he says. The sky isn't falling. I'm quoting the man. People thought it was the end of civilization as they know it. It wasn't. The sky is mostly still up there with the stars and the clouds. End quote. 21 months after the rollout of recreational marijuana stores in Colorado, the one thing Hickenlooper wants everyone in or out of Colorado to know about ending marijuana prohibition is... It's not that. There's something in there, I'm telling you. Most people who were not smoking marijuana before it was legalized still don't. That's what he wants you to know. If you didn't smoke dope before we legalized pot here in Colorado, you still don't. That's what the statistics say. In Arizona, between 400 and 500,000 people already are occasional or regular consumers of marijuana, but except for the 80,000 medical marijuana patients, buy it from unregulated dealers. With the proposal offered by the campaign to regulate marijuana like alcohol, which plans to put a ballot initiative before Arizona voters in November of 2016. Most of those consumers would obtain their pot from licensed stores and pay a tax that benefits schools. According to a recent report by Arizona State University's News 21, legal marijuana now supplies more than half of Colorado's estimated demand. Prohibitionists who want to keep the status quo in Arizona, where possession of a single seed is a low-level felony, often point to tragic accidents in Colorado that may be linked to the use of marijuana. For instance, the Marijuana Harmless Think Again campaign, an offshoot of the county substance abuse program MAP Force that has a webpage that links to articles about Levi Pongi, a 19-year-old college student who jumped to his death in 2014 after eating a marijuana-infused cookie. All that may be true. Was the cookie the cause? It's certainly implied, is it not? I don't think the cookie made him jump. Yet Hickenlooper takes issue with the sensationalizing of every tragedy in Colorado that may have been tied to the use of marijuana, sounding nearly like the Marijuana Policy Project spokesman Mason Tivert for a minute. People read about one failure of the system, a tragic accident, and they don't see the context, the governor says. There are tragic accidents at every day, everywhere. Accidental deaths, prescription drug abuse. Over 1,000 people died from that last year. No one cared. But if someone died from overdosing on marijuana, it's on the front page of the newspaper. It would serve people better to have a sense of proportion. End quote. Sure, there are problems, he acknowledges. Marijuana is still illegal federally, with one of the worst side effects being the lack of a proper banking system for marijuana-related businesses. He says, no checks, safety deposits, charge cards, anything that makes it easier to regulate an industry. An all-cash industry is an invitation to corruption, he says. In fact, marijuana businesses do make deposits and write checks. The IRS doesn't take payroll tax payments in cash, for example. But they do it in a convoluted system that can be likened to money laundering. That's not an issue with marijuana or cannabis businesses directly, though. It's a failure of Congress to make necessary fixes to a $1 billion industry. If Arizona legalizes marijuana next year, Hickenlooper implies, the state may face regulatory challenges in the fast-changing and growing marijuana industry. Voters will have to decide if these issues are deal breakers or if they're outweighed by the benefits of legalization. Seth Liebezon, chairman of the Arizonans for Responsible Drug Policy, a group co-led by a county that's lobbying against the Arizona legalization initiatives there, says he was interested by Hickenlooper's, quote, clear cautionary notes, end quote, in the interview. The negative results of ending prohibition might not be felt for years to come, he insists, adding the guesswork, quote unquote, makes for bad public policy. The chairman of the campaign to regulate marijuana like alcohol says the Colorado experience is demonstrating how this can be done correctly. Even Colorado's governor, an ardent marijuana opponent during their election, acknowledged that taxing and regulating marijuana is working. I mean, the argument, even in places like Colorado, still goes on, doesn't it? I mean, they did the legalization thing in 2012. It was early last year before they could actually roll it out. And even upon that rollout in outlying cities, as was exampled in the High Profit series on CNN, you had a lot of people saying no. Look, we know about pot. We're not sold about all that. We know there's a bad rap around pot. You get that. We get that. We all get that. We're not against the pot. We're about protecting our brand. We are a destination for vacationers across the country. We have a population of less than 5,000, yet 1.5 million visitors a year. We don't want to risk all that. So you got those people, and those are legitimate concerns. I think they're ill-founded. I think when people come to Colorado, if you're going to be a state that's legalized cannabis, you might as well wear that jacket. I mean, own it, for crying out loud. You had the balls to go to the ballot box and say, we don't care about pot, it's no big deal. Stop putting people in jail for it and wasting our tax dollars. And we're not going to convict anybody anymore if you do anyways. So they legalize it. Yet they're still chicken shit when it comes down to actually putting their necks on the line and standing behind the very policy that they believed in, stood for, and managed to enact into law in the great state of Colorado.
You're getting the full melt.
Get ready, let's go. Hey, na, 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 na. Oh, hey, now, let's go. Yeah, I've got style. I'll make it wild. I'll change it up and switch it up so versatile. I'll be myself, and I'm gonna let everybody know.
We have the latest styles to mix it and mash it. So make it your own and bend the trend. JCPenney. When it fits, you feel it. During the JCPenney Back to School Hot Sale, get an extra $10 off when you spend $25 or more with coupon. Nike, Converse, Levi's, and other exclusions apply.
Get growing with GrowMax. Indoor, outdoor, beginner, or a warehouse full of Gavitas. Probiotic organics, or huge production with Max Power monster aeroponics systems. We can help you rock it. YouTube GrowMax with 2 X's. Customer service is why we're blowing up. And I'm Dave. My cell number is 906-221-2111. We also specialize in electrical and HVAC and new double-ended bulb technology. 906-221-2111. Get growing. GrowMax.
Don't miss the first ever cannabis competition this year as the prize contest moves from Amsterdam to Jamaica. That's right, it's all Jamaican fun now with the Big Cup competition in Negril this November. Get your best travel accommodations now at JamaicaPot.com. Pack your beach bong and swimsuit and party down at the warm sandy beaches of Negril, Jamaica for the first ever big cannabis event this year. Do it in style or come have fun on a budget. Best travel prices now at JamaicaPot.com. That's JamaicaPot.com.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, the allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit petpain.com or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. Petpain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
We ask people to tell us something that happened in their past and something that might happen in their future. The good things were put on yellow magnets and the bad ones on blue. The results show the past was a pretty even mix of good and bad, yet the future was almost all good things. Now that you've seen the results of this experiment, what does it mean to you?
We all want to think about positive stuff.
Realistically, there will be down times.
It's great to think optimistically, but let's plan for whatever the future might bring.
Prudential, bring your challenges.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio Show.
We're here Monday through Friday from 7 until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to get a copy of the show every day because you can't listen live and you're tired of looking it up. It's really easy to do. Right there at the top of the fullmelt.com's page is a link to Facebook. I'm sorry, there is a link to Facebook. There's also a link to iTunes. If you click on that link, you're subscribed. It's just that easy. Look, we're talking about taxes and, you know, this business with Arizona and Colorado. It's not a failure. It really isn't. Really? Are you going to spin it that way? How can you spin the idea that these states are making millions of dollars this year that they weren't making last year? Millions. Tens of millions. Approaching $100 million in some states. I mean, that's a lot of dough. What are you going to do with that money now? Colorado chose to do a lot of stuff with it. Mostly put it towards their kids, right? I mean, it goes to kids. It goes to educating and treating drug abuse. It goes to cops. It goes to the kids in the form of schools. I mean, these guys are doing great things with this money. They made so much money, they had to give some back. They even recently announced a tax-free pot day in Colorado. Go there and buy your legal weed, and the tax man not cometh. How often do you see that happen? When did, in your state, they say, hey, if you're going to the Secretary of State today and you're going to or if you're going off to the DMV and you're going to do your plates or you're going to get your license renewed, it's a tax-free day. It doesn't happen, does it? I mean, marijuana's got special treatment, special handling, no matter where you go. And legalization is marching forth. The most recent place to finally settle this, it seems, according to the Mercury News at themercurynews.com. It's not the Mercury, it's just mercurynews.com. Medical marijuana in California's legislature, where lawmakers have reached an 11th hour deal on regulation. Dateline, Sacramento. California lawmakers were expected to vote Friday on a proposal to create the first regulatory framework for the state's thriving but unruly medical marijuana industry after lawmakers reached an 11th hour compromise on a trio of marijuana bills. The authors of legislation that had been stalled in the Senate and Assembly in the closing days of the legislative session announced a deal on the package that would establish a Bureau of Medical Marijuana Regulation to oversee every aspect of the industry, from pot farms to medical clinics to product safety labs and retail distribution. It's all covered, isn't it? Both chambers said that they plan to put the measures establishing underlying licensing and operation rules to a vote before the legislature adjourns for the year on Friday. Boy, in Michigan, they're just getting back into things. In Friday, they're adjourning for the year? You know, it drives me crazy. I was just talking to a friend the other day, Michigan, it seems, and I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew that we had a full-time legislature here, but I didn't realize that we're like one of only 4 states in the country that has a full-time legislature. Is California's legislature part-time? It must be. I mean, this is a state that represents 1/5 of our economy when you talk about GDP in this country. 1 out of every $5 generating growth in this country is coming from the state of California. And they're just now, after 20-some years of doing medical marijuana in their state, coming to terms with this legislatively. I mean, I gave you examples just recently about how some people in Colorado want to point to Colorado's tremendous success in this space and say, oh, it's a failure. We're going to spin it into failure and tell Arizona not to make the grim mistake of Colorado's precedents. Don't do that. Don't be like that state. Why not, I say to you? Why not? Both chambers said they plan to put the measures establishing underlying licensing and operation rules to a vote before the legislature adjourns for the year on Friday. These regulations are long overdue, and I'm thrilled that we were able to work together to find common ground on historic medical marijuana regulations for our state. Senator Mike McGuire, a Democrat from Healdsburg, whose 370-mile-long district encompasses Northern California's prime pot-growing regions, said in a statement announcing the compromise. The near certainty that California voters will be asked to legalize recreational marijuana next year had put pressure on lawmakers to at least rein in the damn medical marijuana trade, a job that they had deferred in the nearly 2 decades since it became the first in the U.S. to authorize marijuana for health purposes. But until Thursday, they had been unable to get an oversight scheme to the finish line despite unprecedented cooperation from law enforcement, local governments, pot growers, patient groups, dispensary operators, and even the governor. The bills preserve the rights of cities and counties to ban medical marijuana businesses and the ability of individuals with doctors' recommendations to use medical marijuana to grow limited amounts themselves. They also seek to address the growing outrage over environmental damage caused by illegal marijuana cultivation by treating marijuana as an agricultural product subject to pesticides and water use restrictions. The office charged with overseeing the new standards will be housed within the California Department of Consumer Affairs, but the Department of Food and Agriculture and Departments of Public Health will have prominent roles in their implementation and enforcement, according to an assemblyman. Co-sponsor of the main assembly bill, in fact. All 3 bills, McGuire's SB 643, AB 266 by Assemblyman Rob Bonta, and AB 246 and Assemblyman Jim Wood, must pass for any of them to reach Governor Jerry Brown's desk. All 3. The governor has expressed skepticism over the wisdom of legalizing recreational marijuana use, but his office has been involved in crafting a compromise that he'd be willing to sign. He's been willing to sign that since late August. Not very long, Governor Brown. Not very long at all. Wanted to move on to this idea that there's some new data also. We got here for time. We can squeeze it in. Not a big deal. This, according to the Daily Caller at, I believe it's dailycaller.com. Yeah, dailycaller.com. New data shows legalization, I say, had no impact on teen marijuana use. Fears that legalizing marijuana would create a surge in teen smoking appear to have been rebuffed, according to a new national survey on drug use. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration data showed that nationally, 7.4% of young people between the ages of 12 and 17 used pot on a monthly basis in 2014. This is according to the Washington Post's Wonk blog. Although that represents an increase of 0.3 percentage points on the previous year, the organization said it's not a statistically relevant figure and was still much lower than in 2002. 2014 was the first year that adults could legally buy weed in Colorado and Washington, while marijuana use among teenagers has not soared in the way some had feared. Use has risen substantially among adults over the age of 26 from 5.6% to 6.6%. At this point, analysts are unable to attribute the rise in cannabis use for adults to the legalization regimes in some states. Later this year, the organization will release data breaking down marijuana use state by state, which will help explain and pinpoint the rise in adult cannabis use. The data on teen drug use appears to reflect a report published by the Washington State Institute of Public Policy, a research body set up in the state's legislature that found the legalization had relatively little impact on teen marijuana use. According to the report, cannabis use and access amongst students in the 6th through 12th grades have changed little from 2002 to the most recent survey in 2014. Quoting from that article. However, while marijuana use may not have surged, there has always been a relatively sharp decline in the number of youngsters who think regular cannabis use is harmful. So there's more statistical data. I mean, it's statistical. It's right there. They did the survey as is required by their own laws. And the data shows a negligible increase. I mean, it's 0.3%. And these are national statistics. This is not a simple state survey. So as marijuana legalization campaigns, both on the medical and retail fronts across the country, roll out, you're not seeing a significant increase in use across the board except by adults. And that would be anticipated as expected, wouldn't it? I mean, if you open up a market to adults that previously was a black market, don't you expect an increase in the numbers of reported adult uses? One would think that's a natural reaction. That those are normal statistics and those are healthy statistics. This is what you would expect in a report like this. So shine on, as you will, those people in Colorado who want to tell Arizona that they're going down an evil path, that their future moves, if they budge towards legalizing retail cannabis in the great state of Arizona, that you're going to end up flushing your lives away. Flushing them away like they did in Colorado. With all that tax money coming in and all those jobs, not just in the cannabis industry, but in all the industries that support regular Americans doing regular things in their cities and states. Flushed away. Please flush me away. Flush me away. If that's flushing, flush twice. I don't mind at all.
You're getting the full melt.
Young students are our future. They're eager to learn, eager to succeed, eager to make the world a better place. And they want to make it to school safely. Share the road, take care when passing, and always leave 3 feet between you and people on bikes. Bikes are legal road vehicles. We're all drivers.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today. marijuanapatients.org.
Hey, it's Steve Green for the Sweet Leaf in Flint, because now getting safe access to medical cannabis patients in Flint, Michigan is never more welcoming. Presenting the Sweet Leaf, a brand new patient experience bringing 12 carefully selected caregivers housed in 9 separate offices to distinctly assist you with their knowledge and reputation for excellent patient care. Classes and training coming soon in the large community room. Check it out in person, 400 South Door Highway, or call 810-259-2571. The Sweet Leaf Center in Flint, 810-259-2571.
If you're like us, your pets aren't just animals. They're members of your family. Pet Pain CBD hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats. Some people are apprehensive about hemp treatments for pets. They ask us, what are you smoking? Absolutely nothing, and neither will your pet. Like other hemp-based products for humans, the allure is all of the benefits of cannabis without any of the high. The CBD oil has shown to rejuvenate the bones, joints, brain, stomach, eyes, and heart. And the drops contain absolutely no corn, wheat, soy, artificial colors and flavors, or preservatives. Pick some up today. Visit petpain.com or ask for Pet Pain at your local pet store. Petpain.com. CBD relief for your pet.
Got something to hide? Canalock offers discreet and effective storage solutions that destroy odor, so nobody knows. Canalock is a patented charcoal-activated bag that discreetly stores your marijuana. Canalock is made from the same material as military chemical warfare suits. Get yours at canalock.com. Visit canalock.com to learn more about no-smell technology.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show. Savoir-faire is everywhere. That's what I said to you. Back on the FullMelt.com with the Full Melt Show. Getting ready for the last segment. We got to bring Joe Brown online. Joe's out in Saranac, Michigan. I should be playing the what is that? Dueling Banjos is what I should be playing for the Butters update right now. Joe, welcome to the program. You got some update on what's going on the hemp farm out there in Western Michigan?
Hey, Steve. Today we're at about the 50% mark for finishing the 4-season greenhouse, which will continue our hemp research throughout the winter months without having the electric bill or a heat bill.
That's now a lot of people are like, wait a minute, he's onto something there. But it took you a lot to get it there, didn't it, Joe?
Well, this is about a $5,000 greenhouse, which if you are somebody who's a caregiver, it could cross over into medical marijuana, where you would be able to do this at your place. Now, again, this is an experimental greenhouse. We don't know if this is going to work yet. This is part of the research, is the greenhouse.
Oh, is the little D plant down there going, no, we don't want to be experimented on. Don't experiment on us. We might freeze to death. They're not doing that, I take it. They're brave plants.
Oh, well, you know what? You helped play a part in it. I got to give you credit for that, because there was an integral part of this for us in the research and development phase, where you played an integral part in helping me personally make this strain even where it's at today. So we thank you for that.
What Joe has there is a high CBD yielding hemp plant. It's an auto-flowering high CBD hemp plant. And I gave him some high CBD genetics to crossbreed there, and he ended up with basically industrial hemp that produces a very high CBD yield. Tell him what it is, Joe.
Well, currently it's 26% CBD, and it's 0.33 tenths of 1%.
Jeez.
Which technically makes it marijuana still, because it's 3/100ths too high. So we have a breeding program, and then I use all the hemp for my own personal stuff, but ultimately there's a breeding program where we're trying to reduce the THC further so that it'll be federally legal, and we will possibly have one, if not the first American strain, it'll be one of the first American strains in the United States for industrial hemp.
You know, the plant that I gave you to do the crossbreeding with, I nearly lost that variety. Now, I grow it because people need it. People need a variety that produces a high CBD yield with virtually no THC. And they do it because they give it to children with epilepsy. And it has a tremendous effect on their lives. Now, a lot of places just do the CBD, and I don't want to get into the whole thing. But I only grow it because it represents no value to the garden. In other words, it doesn't pay for itself. But it's extremely important, Joe, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And let's, without getting too far into it.
Well, I nearly lost it. That was my point. The plant decided to. I only had one plant that because I just do the one, and it was all pointing down one day. I mean, it was all just like if somebody had pulled its roots. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened to it. Perhaps it just got too old. I don't know what happened. But I managed to, in the last saving moment, I mean, it was all just wilted over and probably had been that way for a couple of days because I thought it was completely dead. So I took a cutting off of it and stuck it in some water and managed to get that sucker to root. And I'm telling you, it's maybe 4 or 6 leaves on it. It's growing now, so I know it's doing well. But it's just this tiniest of seedlings. It's all I got left of that genetic.
Keep something in mind. If the plant is of origin of hemp, in which that plant is that you have, it's going to kill itself out. To have a long-lasting mother plant, it can't happen. It has you can stretch it out, but eventually it'll die again.
Well, that's maybe what it did then. Maybe it just said, "Hey, I'm done growing, and I'm done. It's over with. I mean, this is the end of my life." But I took a cutting from it, and she's doing fine. She's growing away, so back to that again.
Hey, we just harvested 2 weekends ago down in Kentucky an acre of hemp by hand, and we still have 3 more acres to go cut down and hand pick in a couple weeks. So make sure you guys stay in touch with us because we're going to be pulling another 3 acres out of Finola and CFX, and that's what we make our tea and coffee products out of.
So you're growing a lot of that stuff, and how the stuff that you grew on the farm there in Michigan work out with regards to the non-hemp based stuff, the tea and the coffee stuff?
Well, okay, so our hemp here at Michigan Hemp Camp is for seed, and everything is just amazing. This looks great right now. The hemp in Kentucky, though, we got a lot of rain, and the seed was pushed too deep. So our crop was really damaged, very, very highly damaged because of the high rains when it was planted.
Wow. So did you have a low yield? Is that how it got damaged? It just ended up being low yield, or did it have a crappy product?
Very low yield. Very low yield.
Wow. Well, that's not good. Did you have a lot of problems with the seeds being eaten?
No, not at all. What happened was the seed is only supposed to be 1/4 inch to 1/8 in the depth. And the rain, when the seeds were originally planted that night, the rain was torrential flood rains, and it pushed the seed down 1 to 2 inches. So the seed used all its energy just to get to the top of the soil, which stunted all the plants.
Right. That's terrible. Terrible.
It's farming. That's just how it is. I mean, whether it's a small garden or a big garden, if what you're growing doesn't work out, it's still the same result in the end. You hate it,
Tell us about Butters. What's going on with Butters?
Butters is in heat. Butters is running around.
Butters is a girl? I thought Butters was a boy.
Yeah, he is a boy. But he's in heat. I mean, he's walking around and he's got this pink thing hanging off him.
Wait. I've never heard of a boy being in heat before. That's just a weird term. Like I've heard the rut, but not the heat.
Well, maybe he's in rut. Okay. That's a better way to say it. A rut, because he's running around here with. I mean, he's getting nutty. You know what I mean?
Is it blue nutty?
Oh, it's nutty, all right.
So, does he have a propensity to butt you more? Does he butt you?
Oh, yeah, he's very aggressive, not toward me, but toward Dave, our farm manager. And he's also chasing the girls around quite a bit, and he's been jumping on them, trying to mount them.
That's I would not be letting myself be mounted by a goat. Do you have a red cape anywhere, Joe?
No.
No red cape? See,
no red tape.
Yeah, I've watched the videos of the guys getting butted around by goats in town. Like a goat got loose, and all of a sudden he's challenging. I think in one case it might have been a ram. Rams and goats are like they're akin, aren't they, Joe?
Oh, they're cousins for sure.
There was a ram that got loose, and it must have just been a big goat because I couldn't see a ram because a ram would kill you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think some goats could kill you.
I tell you, is Butters literally horny? Does he have horns?
Yeah, he's got 6-inch horns now.
Whoa! So he's not kidding around when he comes at you with them horns, then?
No, not at all. He's not. Those babies are for real. I mean, and he uses them.
So he's literally a horny goat.
Yes, sir.
A blue-balled horny goat is what you're telling me you got.
He's crazy. He's running around the yard all crazy.
Is it because are you making, because you do feed him the hemp, right? He gets the hemp?
Oh, yeah, we feed him the hemp. But it's not the hemp that's driving him crazy. It's these female goats. They won't give him what he wants, and it's driving him nuts.
Are you sure it's not that he got into your secret stash? Because I know you got some more than just hemp laying around there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. No, but he has done that before.
He's got into your stash before?
Oh, man, he ate probably a quarter of nugs before I caught him.
Look, it's just like the Cheech and Chong thing, but with a goat. You didn't follow him around with a baggie. Please don't.
No, I let him just keep that for himself.
Well, at least you know you got a happy goat. He's a horny happy goat, but he's a happy goat. What happened here? Something happened. Hang on a second. I got to check something, Joe. Stand by. I got technical shenanigans afoot. Oh, there it is. Somebody moved the close of the show like a minute and a half past the close of the normal show. So I'm like, wait a minute, aren't we supposed to be off? Yeah, we are supposed to be off the air. Joe Brown from the Industrial Hemp Farm at the Michigan Hemp Company out in Cernak, Michigan. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We'll call you again with another Butters update next Friday.
The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.